come I don't see my own camera?
All I see is Nurse Bobby.
Yeah. So why is my
All
camera off?
right, guys, we are live. Nurse Bobby can't find his camera. That's okay. Hey, welcome
I'll
back to
figure it
the
out.
Alien Factory podcast. We got a whole crew, cast of characters here with us tonight, along with our special guest as well. We're just going to go ahead and start things up. So glad you're here with us tonight. If you have not done so yet, please go hit that subscribe button. It's much appreciated as we gain subscribers. And the most important thing you can do if you want to help out the channel, help out the podcast and our growth, is to go and share this link and share this podcast, and we really appreciate that. Share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it in Discord, anywhere you can. It's much appreciated. It helps us out with some direct channel growth. Tonight, we are glad to have a special guest with us here, Mike Ouellette. I'm sure I pronounced your last name wrong, but Mike, you're from Major's Garage. We appreciate you being here with us tonight. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, and you got it perfect.
Awesome. I was trying. And we're going to go we're just going to kind of get caught up with everybody's week. We've been in Richmond this week for all the eNASCAR stuff. And also another place I've been a lot this week is the Red Bull Ring and the MX-5s. And then I know, Scott Austin, you were messing around a little bit there in the F3s this week at Monza, weren't you? I don't know if you raced any races, but I talked you into buying the car, and you were out on the track a bit, weren't you?
Yeah. I just shaking down the car a little bit. Two tests will be next week on the mountain.
Oh, dude, Bathurst. That's everybody on Area 51 that does road racing. Bathurst is like one of our all-time favorite tracks. So, yeah, I plan on spending some time in the F3 next week at Bathurst on the mountain. Absolutely. So we'll definitely do some of that.
But yeah, just playing around with Richmond, and then I run a little Watkins Glen in the GT3 car.
In the GT3. Now you're still driving the Ferrari, right?
Yep.
In the GT3, that's it. Yep. What about we also got the Admiral on tonight?
Hey, drop your beer, grab your gear. The Admiral's here. How about it, Mike? We made it through another week already. It's been pretty exciting, that's for sure. This week I followed you guys through Richmond, and we try to make these setups with for long runs for you guys. But I'm gonna tell you what, anymore I'm gonna start making qualifying sets for you, because man, with the amount of cautions you guys have, there is no point in setting us back a little bit by making these long run sets, because by the time it comes in, you guys have a caution. It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, I might have to rethink that with Martinsville coming up, because that's gonna really throw things off. Because I don't know if you're gonna need a long run set at Martinsville. We probably get you 25 lap, 30 lap run, and that's about all you're gonna get. So anyhow, we'll have to see how that works out this week.
Well, Richmond's certainly been a wild ride this week. And I know, Robert, you spent some time in the car this week. What's it been like for you at Richmond this week? Before he starts, I got to give a proper introduction. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Robert Cook. Go ahead, Robert.
Well, I don't know where you guys been racing. We've been having long runs, and last night I think we had 2 cautions, and Scott, he ended up hitting after the race was over. He should have not have. And I think I finished 6th and went nonstop. It was long races and hardly any cautions. So you guys must have got in the wrong server or something.
I must have been in the beginning of the week, because I know the beginning of the week was pretty rough. So hopefully it's smoothed out.
Oh, yeah, the strength of field race on Monday night had like 15 cautions in the B Open strength of field race Monday night. It was pretty wild. What about you, Nurse Bobby? We ain't seen you too much this week, man. What have you been into?
Doing 12-hour shifts at the hospital. That's my excuse.
I guess that's as good an excuse as any. Oh, man. So, round table. So Robert, you say you think the racing's been pretty good at Richmond this week?
Yeah, they've been excellent. We've been having long runs, so we might have a 10, 15 run, and then we'll have a caution. Then we'll go 35, 40 laps or something like that before caution comes out. And I thought it was real good racing.
Well, Robert spent a lot of time in the garage this week, too. He's been having computer problems for the last couple of weeks, but we've been working on it hard, haven't we, Robert, trying to get you all situated?
Oh, yeah, I've got some heat sink. That kind of helps out. Without heat sink, your computer will run hot.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, Robert went out and bought a Asus pre-built computer from was it Best Buy, and the airflow and the heating, or not the heating, but the airflow and the cooling wasn't the greatest in it. So we've been trying to help get him situated. He ordered a new heat sink and fan, for his CPU and stuff, and switch cases. Got some case fans in there, so we're going to get him all straightened out, I think.
Yeah, we'd be back up to 100% full potential here after a while.
Yeah, 100% full potential.
Instead of 99, 99 is working fine.
Scott, what's your race? Have you raced many Richmond races, and what have they been like this week?
They've been good. I had the worst race was 7 cautions, but most of them been just 2. I think I had a race with 1 with 4, but for the most part, it's been good. Richmond was really good, a lot better than what normally is, I think.
Yeah.
So I was happy with the amount of cautions. It wasn't bad at all, at least in the races that I was in. Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw, but I thought it was good.
Well, hey, speaking of incidents and car contacts, hey Robert, me and Scotty on our team, Scotty Stevens Scooter, our cars have been like magnets this week, haven't they?
Yeah, magnets with each other, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. It's like the golden rule of being on the team is you don't hit your teammates. And me and Scotty's been banging off each other this week.
You shouldn't talk bad about Scotty since he's not here.
Oh, I'm not talking bad about it. I remember there was 2 incidents that I remember that one was it was hilarious. One of them was Scotty and the other was me. But the one that was Scotty, we were in an open race, I think it was, and we're on the restart. And Scotty comes down, door bangs me on the restart, and he's like, Mike, what'd you do that for? Like, what'd you hit me for? And I'm like, Scotty, I don't think I did. And so after the race, we go back and watch it, several times, and we just started laughing because Scotty got upset, but he came down and hit me. And then the other significant time was we were in the league race, and we were like 3/4 the way through our rapid fired pizza National Series League race this week on Thursday night, and I got that up as a live broadcast if you guys want to go check that out. But we were like, I don't know, 2/3 or 3/4 the way through it, something like that. And I'm trying to get around Scotty, and I get a nose on him in the straight. We go down the turn. Right before the turn at the end of the straight, I got him, and he went flying, and stuff. And he's like, Mike, what'd you do that for? And I really did at that time, I think. And we went back on accident. We went back and watched the replay after the race multiple times from different angles. And me and Robert were assessing the situation. And, from inside my cockpit, it looked like he came down a little bit. When we hopped out of the car, though, and looked at it from like the rear, the far rear chase angle, where you can see the car real good. Nope. I come right up into him a little bit, but there was a lot of net code too. But yeah, so he got me once and I got him once, but yeah, we had the team foul there. We both, our cars were like magnets together.
I remember watching that with you guys that night.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, but that second time was me. I was like, oh, I told him the next day because he hit the wall after that and got mad and quit. And the next day I told him, I was like, Scotty, I'm sorry, man. That second time we got into each other, it was all me, man. All me and a little bit of net code. But yeah, anybody else have anything crazy going on this week? Mike, what's it been like for you guys over at the majors this week?
In terms of
just in general, what's going on this week? Like anything happening? What's your guys' week been like?
Well, it's been a busy week. Obviously, you guys mentioned Bathurst at the F3, so that's always a popular combo. So as well as been working on that, we just released that setup, but released that we're doing the Majors 24 again. So that was probably took up the most of my week, and we ran a little race called the Jimmy Bryan 200. For those of you who are familiar with who Jimmy Bryan was, a little tribute race in the Majors today. It was a really good race. So yeah.
Awesome.
Mike, you want to enlighten us on the Jimmy Bryan? I know the name. Is that IndyCar? Old IndyCar?
Yeah. So he ran IndyCar from 51 to 60. He won the 55 Indy 500, and he was a 2-time USAC national champion. He was killed in 1960, and Phoenix in the mid 70s, they ran 3 or 4 years in a row. They ran a tribute race to him, called the Jimmy Bryan, either 150 or 200. They changed the length of it. anyway, so we ran a tribute race in the Lotus 79s at Phoenix this week. That was our 4th round of the season. It was, again, amazing. Combo turned out to be incredible, actually.
I like that car with the 79,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Lotus 79. Yeah, absolutely. That was kind of the year of like Mario Andretti, if I remember right, when he won his championship too, somewhere around there.
right.
But yeah, that would be a fun combo. Yeah, I feel bad I missed out on that one.
Well, I tell you, Tracy, I tell you guys, I got one piece of thing that's happened to me this week. I've been engulfed in drama this week.
No, that's something new.
Yeah,
Please,
well,
please tell us. Our viewers want to know.
well, after our after our podcast last week, you know, like I post shorts of our podcast, and I do that every week, you know, because a lot of people don't want to come and watch, you know, like an hour and 40 or an hour and 15 minutes worth of podcast, or an hour or whatever we go, you know, between an hour and hour and a half. We try to keep it to about an hour, but they may want to sit through the whole thing. But you know, there's certain topics they might want to listen to in the podcast. We just break it up into shorts. A lot of podcasts do that. They'll cut up into 3-4 segments and post those individually. And so I was doing that, and man, I posted the segment where Ken shared his story last week about the whole topic of that we know has happened to several people over the last year, of just set up shop, one person, a builder, buying somebody else's set and trying to resell it, and we just brought Ken on because it was a recent example, but we were trying to educate people just about that has happened in general, And so anyway, oh my goodness, man, a lot of the premier people, like people that was like drivers for them, or like, I don't know who they were, associate them somehow, just came out and started like hitting me on the forums like crazy over on Facebook, the groups on Facebook, and they put out a like, I just tried telling people, I'm like, listen, I don't have a dog in the fight here. We're just trying to do an educational piece. The only reason we brought Ken on, we weren't trying to call you guys out necessarily, but we just brought him on because it was a recent example, right? And so, but yeah, that they were all up in arms. Anyway, the Premier put out this press release, and I got to share this on my screen with you guys. Hold on. I'm just laughing because it's funny to me. I don't really want to get in a lot of drama about it, but it just happened. So I'm going to share it and let you guys all check this out. So I'm sharing my screen right now, and you guys should be able to see it. Okay. This was the official statement from the guys over at the Premier Racing Setups. Again, I got nothing against them personally. I don't know those guys from anybody really. But anyway, I think they're rather newer setup shop. I don't think they've been around for a long time. But anyway, they said, this is their official statement, guys. It's on the screen. It says, we recently were alerted of an old incident being brought back to life. We would like to remind everyone that this is being discussed, or what is being discussed now is actually old news and happened a long time ago and was already handled. This is a publicity stunt to bring eyes to a new podcast that is starting up. Thank you to those who reached out to us. We appreciate it, and we are better than ever. Eyes forward, heads down, foot to the floor. Now here's all I got to say about this, guys. And nobody has to get caught up in this drama other than me if you don't want to, and I'm not really going to push on it too long. But the part that caught me was, okay, let's say, I read their official release and everything before the podcast last week on what they say happened officially. And they said there was this one builder who went and bought a set and they didn't know about it. Now I've heard conflicting information, and I don't want to get into it because it's over and it's happened before. It's already been handled from both sides. Again, it was just an educational thing last week. But if that is the case, and you address it with the individual, and they got let go, and they apologize to people, and they say, we're going to keep better control on this, what more can you ask from a company if that's the truth? I'm not saying it is or it isn't, because I have no clue. But I'm saying, but what more can you ask from a company? I was just bringing light to that just this broad situation as a whole. But what I find hilarious is that this happened, what, Trace, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, something like that? Yeah,
Auto Club, wasn't it?
Yeah, Auto Club. So in week 7, Auto Club was like week 2. So, and so the end of week 2, so you'd be like, you're talking 4 or 5 weeks, something like that, maybe. Yeah, anyway, right around 5 weeks, give or take a week ago. We weren't trying to break news here. Like, we weren't trying to get out late breaking news like CNN or Fox, breaking news. We weren't trying to do that. This was a fully fleshed out story that we just let Ken come tell a story on. And what I find hilarious here is the phrases old news and a long time ago. It's kind of like a galaxy far, far away, a long, long time ago. Like when I I mean, when I use the phrase a long time ago, like I'm 42, I'll be 43 here this week. And when I say a long time ago, I'm talking like years ago, like several
Right.
years ago, if not a decade ago, right? And old news, I mean that sounds like something that happened last year or at least 6 months ago or something. I just found that to be massive spin. All I got to say is that if there's a political campaign out there that needs somebody to write press releases and official statements for 'em, they need to hire whoever wrote this.
Hey, Mike. I'm
Go
just joining the conversation. I just got my headset reset back up, but I actually didn't get the backstory behind this. So for other people listening, can you just give the backstory?
All right. Yeah,
'Cause
super quick.
I'm kind
I'll
of lost.
I'll do
myself.
it super quick. So over the last year, I've had several people who own setup shops tell me that somebody else has bought their sets and resold them at a different shop. I mean, and I've heard, it's happened over the last year or two. I've heard stories of it, from different people. And this was just the latest example. So, there was multiple setups, or there were there were setups or a setup. I had a screenshot of one where somebody purchased a Ryko setup from Premier Racing Setups and resold it. They
rebranded it, didn't they?
yeah, they all they did was change the name on the setup to like their naming scheme, and they resold it to their customers. How they got caught is in the notes. In the notes section, it says this is the property of Ryko, and like has all their pit stop notes and everything, like of what to make changes, dynamic changes during pits, and it was signed by Ryko and everything. And then Ryko got a hold of it, so they sent it to him, looked at it, and they checked it against their set, and it was like, I guess it was identical, is what they're saying is it was identical. And so this was all fleshed out like 4 or 5 weeks ago. There was some claims from certain people. I'm not making any claims here. I'm just repeating what's out there. I've seen some claims. There was even some comments on some of these Facebook threads where people were going back and forth on that interview last week that it was more than just the one builder. But Premier officially put out a statement saying it was one builder, and they fired the builder, and they apologized, and they're moving on. But like I said, there's people that say they have inside knowledge that says otherwise. But again, I don't know which one it is. But that's kind of what happened. And Ken just came on to tell his story because we just wanted people who are buying setups to say, hey, if you're buying a set, I personally would want to make sure my money goes to the person who actually built it. So that was the kind of the backstory.
And the moral of the story is
check the notes.
Check the notes.
Yeah, always check the notes. So anyway, that's
funny thing. That is one of the reasons why the different shops have their builders put their branding in the notes, so that if somebody does steal it, it becomes, and they forget to do it. Look, if you're lazy enough to steal a setup, there's a good chance you're lazy enough to
not look in the notes. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, we put, Major's Garage in every setup we build. And again, we don't try to build like the highest end setups in the world. That's not really what we do, but still you brand it just for that exact reason. And just one thing you said, Mike, I just wanted to jump in super quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I was surprised. Premier, I don't know, maybe you don't know this. They were Rocket.
Yeah, I didn't know it at the time, but then I kind of, somebody filled me into that here like a week or so ago, right before we brought Ken on. And the funny thing is, when I first started in iRacing, Mike, David Lamb, who has Pay to Win now, he was with Rocket, and he brought me in, and I raced for Rocket for a while until me and Lamb split off and went and started Pay to Win together. Well, I mean, it's his company, he started it, but I helped him out with some of the stuff, and everything. But yeah, so I didn't even realize that until this whole thing got kicked up.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, it was just, I don't think we were I got accused of like trying to like put a hit piece on him and like all kind of stuff. And I'm like, guys, like if it was me and I was the owner of Premier or something, and let's say everything that he said in his first statement was true, I'm not calling anybody a liar. I never will. Let's just accept it at face value. Let's say it's true. Well, then when I put this out, I don't know why they couldn't just say, yes, this is the same incident that happened 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, whatever, be specific and say it's already been handled. And we watched the podcast and they were just bringing it attention to the subject, and we just want to move on, and we appreciate everybody for being understanding, and we just want to move on from this, and we'll see y'all out on the track or something. I mean,
Yeah, we just report the news. We don't make it. So
yeah. So anyway, that's all we got about that. That was just
don't
crazy. I
hate
just
the
want to talk about it.
messenger, right?
Yeah, really. So I know, Mike. I'm glad we got you with you. I know there's a subject that you and I want to talk about, and the reason why I brought you on here at the end of the podcast, because I like to take our guest and just and kind of focus on that subject at the end. But before that, I know Tracy loves to get to know the people we bring on and put a face behind, or what is it you say, the face behind the place?
Yeah, it's a segment we have. It's called the face that runs the place.
There you
So
go. I knew I
that's where
butchered it.
yeah, that's all right. That's where we're going to start with you, Mike. Once again, and we're going to beat this to death. Thanks for coming to the Alien Factory. We appreciate you being here, taking time out of your day to help us with our podcasts and our viewers, so we can be more informative. And then that way people get to know who's out there, right? They see the product, they see the business, they see the setup shops, whatever, but nobody knows anything about them. There's no depth to them, right? And all we're trying to do is bring that to the surface. So obviously it's the people behind the business. So our first segment with you, Mike, is going to be, like I say, the face that runs the place. Now, my question to you is, how did you get started in sim racing, or racing in general? What attracted you to this? How long have you been doing it? What's your first pedals and wheel combination? You know, give us a history about you. What do you want people to know about you specifically?
Well, my start in sim racing or racing is pretty tame, pretty boring, to be honest with you. You don't come from a racing background, but in the late '90s, so it's been a while. But I was not young even then. But in the late '90s, I really got into NASCAR. Really, really loved it, and started sim racing. With the old NASCAR titles, the Pirates ones,
Yes,
and
that was
just
an
just
excellent time there. I remember that. That's how I
it was,
started.
yeah, and just fell in love with it.
Yep.
I became a big time lurker in the U.S. pits forums. I don't know how many of you guys remember them, but and then when iRacing was starting up, there was a big faction of the community, and I would have had to consider myself a part of that faction at the time that really hated hated iRacing, just from a conceptual perspective. But when I joined iRacing in 2008, I guess 2009. That all changed. I
Are
loved it.
you a founding member? Are you one of the
No,
founding
I
first year
wasn't. I
members?
wasn't in the beta, but I was
Oh,
short. I
okay.
was shortly after, very shortly after. And I remember the very first time I jumped in the Legends race. That was the rookie class back then. I was hooked immediately because
Hmm.
that was not, you couldn't find that anywhere else. It was the first time ever, for those of us who were sort of in at the beginning, that you could just jump into a lobby with people who were of similar skill and have a rate. It was incredible. I couldn't stop. My heart was beating so fast. I was sweating, and I was hooked immediately. So I've been with iRacing ever since. Um, in between iRacing and those Papyrus titles, did the original R Factor and
Yes, I did that too.
even a little bit, and we all the not NASCAR but the oval mods they had. I forget, they had weird names for the cars. But it was fun. It was still fun nonetheless. But then, yeah, once iRacing came around, I was fully hooked. So, but in all fairness, I've never been good. I've been fair to middling at best, and that's probably being overly generous to myself as far as sim
So,
racing is
what's
concerned.
your favorite? Do you like the NASCAR part of it? I know your business is in every aspect of it, but what you personally, what if you sit down at night, what do you like getting into and driving that just takes you away?
Yeah, I mean, I do like to hot lap in anything, but as far as racing is concerned, it's always short oval or dirt
Okay.
oval. And actually, I
Okay.
like rallycross a lot too. Um, so those are the races I run the most on. I'll run a little bit of trucks, but give me a late model, give me a super late model, give me anything
All
on
right.
the dirt, and I'm happy.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Now, since you've been almost a founding member, we'll say you are. I mean, 2008, that's been a while ago. What changes have you seen in iRacing that you remember,
Sure.
and that are here today, or you like better or you like worse? I mean, for those of us that haven't been in iRacing, that long, I've only been in it since 2014, and I went through one major change. But what have you seen since the beginning or the inception of iRacing to where it is today? What have you noticed in change wise?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the fun part about iRacing is that it's, every 3 months we get something new or a bunch of stuff new. And whether it was, um, day to night was huge, huge, huge. The team racing was probably in my opinion, the biggest release, the biggest feature release they ever did. And they did that one really well. Obviously, all the content, when we first started, you ran late models and then well, you ran legends and then you moved up to late models. So that was really what there was on Oval.
Now, did it
And then
take you a long time to say get your A license? Because it seems
yeah,
like everybody fast tracks anymore.
well, that didn't exist back then. Um, so I am one of those old curmudgeons that say, we shouldn't have the fast track. I actually like I hate the fact that you can grind SR in time trials. I don't think a lot of people do that, but I still hate it. And I wish you had to run whole seasons to up your license. And again, and I understand business wise why they don't do that. Everybody wants to get in and run NASCAR right away. They don't want to spend all the time
Sell content too.
in street stocks or legends or whatever. But
Yep.
anyway, I thought it was good. But I'm also not one of those people that says, the racing was so much better back in the day. It wasn't. You're gonna have good races and bad races. Um, I think Scott was saying it's luck of the draw, right? When you get into those races. So
Right.
you're going to have great races that have 0 cautions and wish you had a caution. And you're going to have horrible races that have 15 cautions. And that existed back then and it exists today. But yeah, every 3 months you get something new. And that's really what it is. Right now, we're all waiting with bated breath for rain. And I'm super stoked for that to happen.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So now, is there anything else you want to add equipment wise? What you run? What kind of toys you have at home?
Yeah, pretty basic stuff. I have a Thrustmaster TX with their pedals, so real simple. I don't do much racing anymore, to be honest. I race
Now,
in my league a little bit, but I might do. If you looked at my profile, you might see 4 or 5 official races this calendar year so far.
now,
So
now, Mr.
not a lot.
Excitement. Last week we were comparing rigs. Okay, and I'm afraid Ken Byron's got us by a ton.
Oh my
So,
goodness! Did you see
but
that,
yeah,
Mike? Oh,
we're
Yeah,
gonna need a
jeez.
picture. We're gonna need a picture of your rig so we can compare it. All right, we're gonna put it on
sure.
our wall and and go that route. But yeah, so we need a picture of your rig.
Okay.
And so, all right, from there, now I'm curious. So now I'm going to segue more into your business side. Uh, Share that with us. What made you decide to go from iRacer to iRacing Guru with a setup garage that does everything under the sun? I mean, every time I talk to Mr. Excitement, he's telling me about all the new stuff you got coming out. He's got to sit on his hands and keep from waving to everybody. He's so excited every week. I can't believe it. He's like, I got this new email. I got this new email. And he's going into it in depth. It's like, slow down, Chief. Take a breath. Let me know what's going on here. So from your side, tell us, how did you get from where you started to where you are? Let us know. I'm curious.
Yeah. So certainly a different path than most setup shop owners. Obviously, I think most guys start shops because they're really good racers and they build their own setups and they find that there's a need for that. So I think that's the common path and that's perfectly great. Not me at all. You wouldn't want to buy a setup from me personally. I can assure you that would be a bad idea.
So you're not
Um,
considered a builder then?
not whatsoever. You would not want me touching them.
All right.
So we'll just make full disclosure there. No, my background in iRacing is really, you sort of know early on if you're good or not. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. I knew right away I wasn't good. Like I said, I was okay. I had fun at it. I enjoy it, but I'm not good. And but you find things you are good at, and some people get into broadcasting, and some people get into coaching, and some people get into whatever. But I'm good at running series. I'm a race director at heart, really. And so in 2012, I took over the World Cup of iRacing from iRacing. They
Oh
were going to
wow.
stop. They were going to stop doing it altogether. Um, and I talked to Tony Gardner. I said, "Hey, I said we cannot let this die." I said, "Let me take it over." And I totally thought he was going to say no, but he said, "Yes, go ahead." And so I got a team together, and we ran that for 7 years, from 2012 to 2019. So super cool event. I still love it to this day. We had a couple thousand people usually participate each year.
Hey.
I really enjoyed it. That was sort of my introduction into being a race director within iRacing. And then in 20
Hey, Scott.
Go ahead.
Hold on, Nurse Bobby. We're in the middle of an interview, bud.
Anyway,
go ahead.
Sorry. Anyway, in 2013, I started. We ran something called the Northwest Indy 500. So I'm from the Northwest Club. I'm in Washington State, and we ran an event just for the Northwest Club called the Indy 500. You may have heard of it. And it was great. It was a cool event. Everybody loved it. And so in 2014. So 9 years ago now, we started a full series of events that were just majors. So like Daytona 500, Indy 500, Spa, 2.4, Le Mans, Bathurst 1000. You get the idea. We did that about 10 to 14 races every year, starting
Now,
in 2014.
how does one get into that? Is that like a pro event, or is that open to anybody? How would somebody follow into that? Wants to do that?
Yeah, it's an open league. It's an open series. If you go to our website at majorseries.com, you can find out all about it. Again, we've existed for 9 years. We are, I think we're the largest private league on iRacing. And we certainly have the most participation weekly. I mean, we just ran. So things that we're pretty proud of is that we like to do fun off the beaten path events as well as the big ones, but just sort of that remember. That's my dog. Sorry. That remember old school races. So we did the Jimmy Bryan 200 today.
Right.
We had 250 people participate in a Lotus 79 race at Phoenix. So we like to bring attention
Old
to
Phoenix or the new one?
Old Phoenix.
Okay.
Old Phoenix, of course, legacy. We ran the Copper World Classic in the Silver Crowns in 2018. Same track, obviously with different cars. Had similar type of attendance. So those are the kind of things we like to do. We do some of the biggest events, and then we do some of the forgotten events.
That's nice. I mean, at least that's, people have a venue they can go to. Now, you mentioned your 24-hour race. What was that race again?
It's the Majors 24.
Yeah, and what is that exactly?
So that's sort of an unofficial version of the 24 Hours of Le Mans that'll be coming up on June 4th. This will be the second year that we've run it in place of iRacing being able to do it, since they from a licensing perspective they're not really able to run an officially branded 24 Hours of Le Mans. So we run one that we don't call Le Mans. We just call it the Majors 24.
How's your turnout for that?
Well, last year we had 405 teams take the green.
Wow.
And so just over 1,600 drivers.
Dang, that's
participated.
amazing.
Yeah, it was. We were blown away, honestly, by the desire for people to participate in it. And then we've just been getting hit up like crazy early this year. Are you guys going to run it again? Are you going to run it again? Are you going to run it again? And to be honest with you, I hadn't planned to because scheduling was just not looking good. But we had so many people that wanted us to do it. We decided we were going to find a way. And so on June 4th, we'll be doing it. We've got about 30 teams already signed up. We just opened up registrations. I fully expect we'll have, 500 or, probably way more than that, but 500 plus teams registered.
Is there an entry fee or anything for that?
So it's kind of like the more you get to know what we do with the Major Series, the Majors Garage, etc. I have a model that I follow all the time, and it's the freemium model basically. So you can always do whatever we do for free, or you can pay an entry fee and you get extras with it. And so the Majors 24 is no different. Anybody can race for free, but you can also pay a $30 entry fee for your team. So that's whether it's 2 drivers or 8 drivers, it's $30. And with that $30, you get things like the ability to be on the broadcast split. So we have a 24-hour broadcast for the race. You have the ability to earn the prizes that we have, things of that nature. So
nice.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So,
and
Mike,
I don't know how many of our listeners know about that. I know I didn't, but that's amazing that you put out that kind of effort just in your shop alone.
Right. Well, I mean, again, the Majors Garage really came along long after the Major Series, and so
okay,
and that's actually how the Majors Garage started, was because of the Major Series. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's segue into that. Okay. So now we have. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say the Majors garage. I always think of TJ Majors, but it has nothing to do with him, right? Nothing.
No, nothing to do with TJ Majors. I'm a big Junior fan, but no, it has nothing to do with TJ Majors.
Hey, Mike, I got a question for you. So
Yeah.
when I did my setup shop review, me and you joked about this one day, but I was doing my review on you guys because I'm doing a setup shop review series in our playlist. If anybody wants to go check that out, and I think you guys were the first one I did. And I was just impressed at the amount of cars that you guys build for me. You got to have a big building staff over there. And I said, you know what? There's got to be something that he doesn't build for, but I can't find it. I was like, I told the people watching the video, I kind of challenged them, hey, if you guys can find out what it is, why don't you put it down in the description below or in the comments below? And I said the same thing to you, and you just blurted them out. There was like a couple of things you guys didn't build for, and I done forgot. But what you guys build for so much. I don't know any other garage or shop or whatever that builds for the number of cars you guys do. So it's easier to list what you don't build for. So Mike, what is it again? What are the few handful of things that you guys don't build for?
Right. Well, you're right. It's only a few. We build 65 cars every week, so a couple. We do have 23 builders on staff. So
23 builders on staff every week.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
nuts.
word!
65 cars every week. Yeah. So we don't build for the old Ford Mustang, the FR 500. So
Okay.
the road one.
That'd be in the production car challenge races, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
So you still build for the series, you just don't build for that car. Okay.
We only
good.
build for the MX-5
Yep,
in that
yep.
series, but we don't build for any of the other cars because the MX-5 is the most popular one.
Oh, by
Although
far,
I've
by
gotten
far.
enough. I've gotten quite a few requests for the Mustang.
I was gonna
Okay.
say you should at least do a base set, I would think. For that.
Yeah,
It doesn't
yeah,
have to be a
well-
weekly, but a base set would probably be enough.
Yeah,
I would
that's
think.
possible. It falls in line with what we do with our baseline plus setups. We could offer a free setup for it for sure. And